Welcome to another edition of Against the Grain Sports Podcast, Uncut. And I am your host, Jody Coleman. And I hope everybody out there is having a fabulous Saturday morning. I'm here in the Midwest, man. In the Midwest, I don't know what the weather is on a consistent basis, but it sounds like a windstorm outside. One day we're in the 50s, the next day we're in the 17 degrees outside. It's crazy work up here, man. But nevertheless, man, you never know what to dress for, but that is the Midwest weather. And we got my man Jarrell Solo on Sports Glenn all the way from San Antonio, Texas, man. Got the guns out. It must be the gun show, man. What's good, boy?
What's going on, big dog? How you doing, my brother? My brother from another mother. What's going on, big dog?
Hey, man, it's another Hey, man, it's another fabulous day, man. We're gonna be able to talk sports, man. And I never take these days for granted, man. I never take these days for granted, man, because there's so many other outlets that people can go and tune into to get their sports information, but a lot of people tend to tune in to us, man. So I'm forever grateful when it comes to that stuff. So I never take that for granted, man. So I appreciate you being able to, be all the way from San Antonio, Texas, man. You're an hour behind our schedule, man, but you always here, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Much love, brother. Hey, we in this together, brother. We're like the CMB, Cash Money Brothers. I'm my brother's keeper. Yes, I sure am. We're gonna get this done, baby. Our ending is gonna be great.
No
Ain't gonna
doubt,
be
man.
like in the movie. We ain't gonna take each other out. We're gonna do this together.
Yeah, it's definitely not bigger than me. I'm like, this bigger. This bigger than CMB. Nah, it's not bigger than that, man. But yeah, man, how's the weather down there, man? Before we get started, man, because I told you it feel like a windstorm up here. I don't know what be going on a day-to-day basis up here in the Midwest, man.
We got the 40s this morning. It's like mid 40s, but it's supposed to warm up though. It's just cold in the morning, then warm up a little bit later on. They're probably in the 60s by the end of the day. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would love, man. Right now, I think we're gonna be in the mid 30s. But like I said, I don't know what it is with my backyard, man. But my backyard sounds like a windstorm. It literally, like I got like one of those canopies, those gazebos
Yeah.
on my back deck. You can hear it. It sound like it's about to blow into the yard. I spent way too much money for that, man. Like I'm gonna have to figure some shit out. I don't want to put it to put it into the deck because I don't want to rip the deck up because that's how hard the wind be blowing for some odd reason back here, man. But I'll figure it out, man. I ain't worried about it, man. But yeah, man, we got a great show today, man. We got NFL playoffs, man, divisional round, man. We got a couple of games in the divisional round. We definitely want to talk about that. We want to talk about some college basketball. We got some top 25 matchups. We got Texas A&M going against BYU today, man. That's going to be an interesting matchup. The Big 12 seemed like it's a battle every time the Big 12 get together. I watched the game last night between Kansas and Baylor, and the kid, Darren Peterson, I know we keep talking about this kid, but this kid, he doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he scores a lot of points. Last night, at one point in time, so he had played like 13 minutes, but had like 22 points. Like the guy was scoring so effortlessly, man. Eagles Philly said, "Morning, your brother. Keep doing your thing. Stay blessed and stay safe." That's our guy from Philly, man. So I mean, then we got AJ Debansky. He will be matching up with JT Toppins tonight. Duke, they play Stanford. Stanford got a Buka Akua, a freshman out there in Stanford that nobody's talking about, but he averages about 22 points a game, and he had 36 points against the North Carolina Tar Heels just a few days ago. So it's a lot of great matchups. Arkansas's Darius A. Cup, he'll be on display again. He was the SEC Freshman of the Week last week, man, putting up fantastic numbers, man. We'll talk a little bit about college sports, man. Of course, and we got to talk about the college football championship game between the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers. It's just not a lot of hoopla around that though. So like it's not a lot of hoopla around the championship game,
No,
and
it's
I'm
not.
just trying to figure out why.
The
You
only thing,
know, I'm
Joe, the
trying
only
to
thing
figure.
I've heard about this game is the price of the tickets. That's the only thing people keep talking about. The tickets are very, very expensive. Other than that, I haven't really heard much from the game.
Yeah, because it's not like, let's be real. Who I know Mendoza won the Heisman, but who is really, let's be real, who was really the star of that game? Like who was, like, that's the question we're gonna ask. Who was really polarizing in this matchup?
Ooh, shit. Uh, I guess Carson Beck. Uh, Maybe the coaches are bring more sex appeal than the actual players. I mean, maybe everyone's waiting to see what the quotes the head coach from the Indiana Hoosiers
Mm.
are going to say at halftime and after the game. If they win or lose, he's going to say something crazy. But they're looking forward to that more than actually the players.
And see, I think with Signetti, what's up, sis? Asia in the building, man. She says you got them guns out. With Signetti, I think that this is all by design, far as Signetti with what he says, because I think he wants to take the pressure off of his team. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
wants to take that pressure, and I like that about him because I mean, he got a lot of kids that out of the transfer portal. They say the average age is about 22, 23, which is relatively old for a college team. But I'm really interested. I mean, crystal ball. I mean, really. I mean, like this is a guy was probably on the hot seat just a couple weeks ago. Probably was
Yeah.
on the hot seat after losing like SMU on the road, and now he's the marquee guy. But the polarizing figures. I mean, Ruben Bain. I've yet to even see him in an interview being Ruben Bain. Mendoza is the darling right now. But name, okay, do this for me. Name another person on Indiana's roster outside of Mendoza.
Can't do it, brother. I, I can't do it. Oh, they running back Black. His name, him. Other than that, I can't do it, bro. I know you can probably name probably 12 of them.
Sorry about that, but
No, you good.
the thing about it, so it's not that if I can name them, is who are relatively like household names. You know what I'm saying? Who are guys that we're gonna be like, man, this guy can change the complexion. It's just not a lot of guys. It's just not a lot of guys in this game, but it's a lot of great players that can be good players on the next level. Like, you know, if you go to Indiana, they got the guy Pons, the guy that got the pick six against Oregon. They got Aiden Fisher. You know, they got the wide receiver Amari Cooper. I mean, Amari Cooper. Omarion Cooper. I think I'm saying his name right. I know his last name is Cooper Jr. So they got some guys. The offensive line is unsigned.
Yeah.
We know more about the Mendoza brother. That's the backup than we know about some of the guys on the starting lineup. And then when you go out and you look at the Miami Hurricanes team outside of Malachi Tony, who was much CTV, of course. You
Yeah.
got CJ Daniels at the wide receiver position, Carson Beck. You got Fletcher. You got Brown, the backup running back. But in none of these guys, for real, outside, I think the best player on Miami's team overall, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably Malachi Tony. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he even Ruben Bain and Mazador and things like that, guys on the defense side, and Jacoby Thomas is really good. Fitzgerald is really good, but those guys ain't ringing no bells because we used to having a lot of flamboyant people on the U. You know,
Yeah.
very outspoken. When they went into these games, when Ohio State played them in 2000, I think two That's a team that was with Ken Dorsey. That was a team that had Willis McGahee. That's a team that had Jeremy Shockey, I believe, Kellen Winslow Jr. They were loaded with personalities, and right now, which may be a good thing for both ball clubs, but where's the personalities when you talk about this championship game?
I'm thinking, Jody, maybe Cristobal, who was I think an offensive line coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Maybe he took that from Nick Saban, like, hey man, we don't want players doing all that talking, because Alabama players never really done that either. They will be dominating on the football field during Nick Saban day, but they never really talk trash like the old school Miami Hurricane players. So maybe he took that from them. The funniest part, Jody, was the last game Miami played when the one assistant coaches tried to get a head coach at a back hug, remember? And he jumped like he had a Roku remote in his pocket. Hey, what was that?
Yo, that was crazy work. Hey, just said shout out to Harley Tomlin. She said Mike Tomlin's daughter. She was amazing gymnastics. I think she was at the University of Georgia, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bullpen Sports Wire. He said it's a good day for sports fans. Absolutely a great day for sports fans. But let's get right into this game though. We talked about the sex appeal of the game, but let's talk about the actual game, because that's what we're doing against the grain sports. Talk to me of the championship game. Number 1 Indiana will be facing number 10 Miami Hurricanes. Actually, the last at-large team to get into the playoffs. It seemed like that's a good luck charm. So, because I remember a few years ago when Ohio State won the championship. I know I brought up Ohio State. I'm just using them as an example, though, where they won. Remember, they got in, and Cardale Jones was the starting quarterback when JT Barrett got hurt, and they went to him, and a lot of teams, they got beat early that year by Virginia Tech. A lot of people were like, man, how you lose to Virginia Tech and then get into the playoffs? They steamroll Wisconsin, and then they get into the playoffs, beat Alabama, and eventually beat Oregon to win the national championship. And then you see what they did last year when they got in and just beat pretty much everybody in their path. Miami, you feel the same thing with Miami this year?
Well, unlike the NFL, when you're the underdog, you have to play all your games on the road. I mean, if you think about it, Miami played one real road game in College Station, and rest of them they've been neutral game sites. So they've been bowl games after that. So once they got through A&M, that the whole road thing kind of went out the window, because everybody's on the road after that. But it's been impressive what they've done. A lot of people thought they shouldn't even made the playoffs, but they got in just like some of the other teams you spoke of, and handling business, man. You got to give them credit for getting this far. I didn't think they'd make it to the championship game.
Now, we talk about Indiana. Indiana is a team, it seemed like a destiny, a team that was built within. People say you can't build a team this quickly, and Signetti has built a team in 2 years, and he has a grand total of 2 losses, one being to the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the other one, the last time the Indiana Hoosiers lost was to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. How does a team like Indiana really stack up, and can this team potentially be a team that we see year in and year out in the college football playoffs?
I don't know, Jody. This has been the future will tell. Because if you think about it now, like you said, they got transfer players in there. They're underdogs. They got a bunch of 2 and 3 star players, older players. But in the future, can they become a powerhouse? That's what everyone wants to know. Can they compete year in, year out with Ohio State and Michigan, Notre Dame, and hell, still Penn State? Can they compete with these teams year in, year out? We're going to see if they built like that. We know they don't have the money that some of these other schools. They do have a few rich alumni. They got Mark Cuban, some other guys putting money into the program. But moving forward, I don't know if they're built like that. We're going to find out. Only time will tell. But they got to convince me first that they could be a powerhouse moving forward.
But this is why it goes back to what I was talking about. And I know I keep beating the dead horse when Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss. The reason why I say I was really against him, not because of him trying to feel like he got a better job at LSU, but he had an opportunity to build a program that has never been built like what Signetti is doing with Indiana. Indiana was definitely known as a basketball school. Bobby Knight built that school as a basketball school, 2 national championships, numerous amounts of Final Fours. And when I was covering the Indiana Hoosiers, let me make no mistake, I was just covering the Indiana Hoosiers 3 years ago, and I covered them several games. And once the field was, because the football stadium was right next to the basketball stadium. And I remember they had lost a game to Purdue, which was a rival game, and they could not wait until basketball season started.
Yeah.
I think at that time, I think basketball season had already started because that was the last game of the year, and it was just like they feel was like, oh, once they lose the game, oh, let's get ready for basketball season, even if it was early on in the season. And Indiana doesn't have that feel anymore. Now it's like the basketball team is waiting for the football team because of the success the football team is having, and the basketball team is kind of struggling. Talk to me about that.
Oh, that's a change for this year. Uh, I just think it's very interesting, man, for the team to come out of nowhere, which is rare in college football. Now, you've had some teams that make runs in the tournament in basketball, Sweet 16, Elite 8 teams. Who the hell is this team? But in college football, this is rare. Especially a team that's normally known for basketball and had a terrible football program forever. Seems like Indiana never had a really good. I think when they won that game against Oklahoma, that's the first time they won a bowl game in probably 30 years or something like that. So what they've done this year is probably it's very impressive, but I just like to see what they can do moving forward. They can keep this going or not.
Yeah, but in this, like, I guess we're here to talk about this particular matchup. And this matchup right here, I just think Indiana is going to be a little bit too much for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, I don't want to put anything past Carson Beck because I think Carson Beck's draft status depends on how well he plays in this game. Like, I know right now, I remember a couple years ago, Carson Beck was relatively, a lot of people said arguably could have been the number one pick. Could have arguably been the number one pick. He has not lost a lot of games in college football, but as time went on, people started finding chips in his armor, finding out throws that he couldn't make. Of course, he didn't get a lot of help from his receivers in Georgia. They were dropping a lot of passes. So now he goes to an organization in Miami with the Hurricanes where the wide receiving core is I believe is a lot better than what he had in Georgia. Not taking anything away from those guys, but he has a lot of talented guys that's going to play on Sunday. How well does Carson Beck have to play in this game? Does he have to win this game, or do you think he can sit back and play like he's been playing and play complementary football with the defense?
That's left up to how Miami defense shows up this Monday night. Because to this point, like you said, Jody, he's just been riding a wave. Okay, look here. Our running game has been kicking ass. Our defense has been stopping the other team. I may have to make some key third downs here and there. If they can keep doing that, I think they'll be in the game because his leadership skills have really been showing through this year. I doubted the kid when he went to Miami. I thought, that was a mistake. Man, we made fun of Mike. Carson Beck ain't going to do shit. But he's been very impressive. I don't know what he's going to do on the next level. It just shows me, Jody, that to win at quarterback, everyone thinks you got to throw for 300-400 yards and win with no talent on your team and this and that. That's what they really want to see as a quarterback. No, that's not what it's all about, man. It's about leading your squad one way. It's about winning, kind of like what Jalen Hurts does. He might not have these big, crazy 300-400 yard passing games and 4 touchdown passes, but he's leading this squad to wins, and that's what Carson Beck's been doing.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Chris Vick said he got Miami for the upset. This is my thing with Carson Beck. Like, I think the reason why we was talking about Carson Beck when he went to Miami was not his talent or anything. It was him coming off of an injury, and people was scared that could have been an injury similar to a Tommy John injury. And I think that's what everybody was like. Wait, hold on. We may not want to say that this guy is going to be great when we don't know how he's going to respond from injury. I think they did the coaching staff down there in Miami did a fabulous job by early on limiting his throws, getting his running game established, putting more emphasis on the offensive line, making sure he didn't get hit as many times as because really, let's think about it. Even when Carson Beck was at Georgia, he didn't get hit a lot. What I mean? He did not take a lot of sacks to the face in those games. He didn't like sacks to the face.
No, he didn't.
But no, on some real, man, I think that Carson Beck is going to be one of the key elements in this game. And that Marion, the wide receiver who stood out against Ole Miss because they were doubling Malachi Tony and they were doubling up C.J. Daniels. I think he's going to have to come up big again. But now people watch film and they had 10 days to prepare for this game being Indiana. And Indiana seemed like they're always well coached. Who else could possibly be a person that has to step up? Because I don't think that Indiana's going to let Malachi Tony beat them.
That running game. It's about that double-head monster they got at running game. I think that's what they're going to have to they're going to have to depend on in this football game. It sounds crazy to keep that high-powered Indiana Hoosiers offense on the sidelines. Run the ball, take the air out of the ball. The clock keeps going. The more you keep moving the chains while you're running the ball, the less possession the Indiana Hoosiers offense gets, and your defense gets some rest. So I think that can be very key in this football game.
So let's kind of switch gears over to Indiana side. We got a quarterback in Mendoza who has more touchdown passes than incompletions in his playoffs. He has 8 touchdown passes and 5 incompletions in 2 games. Mendoza has not had to throw the ball, I believe, over 20 times in any game yet. This playoff, he threw the ball, I think, 20 times in one game. I think he threw it 16 times in another game. And he is so efficient. So he's thrown, I believe, that 36 times. He got 8 touchdown passes. So that's 1 touchdown down there. Every 4 passes, he's thrown a touchdown pass. What can Miami do to slow this up? Because their offensive line is not going to let Bang and Mazador wreck this game like they did against Ohio State, Texas A&M, and somewhat against Ole Miss. Talk to me about that. How are they going to put pressure on this kid?
Blitz. You got to show a lot of blitzes. And bring your linebackers and safety to the line of scrimmage. Not blitz them all, but you got to show them different looks, man. He's not the most fleet of foot quarterback. He looks like a newborn deer when he's running sometimes. But it's productive. He gets first downs. Put pressure on the guy. Get him ready for the NFL. You say you're going to be number 1 pick. This is what's going to happen when you become a Raider. Put pressure on the kid and see he deals with that. You can't let these quarterbacks just sit back in the pocket and pick your defense apart. So I would say put pressure on him from other options besides the defensive line, linebackers, safeties, even some corner blitz. This is a championship game. Ain't no need leaving no bullets in the chamber. This is all or nothing right here.
What's up, Jay Kane, the chef in the building? He said, "What's up to the fellas?"
What up, big dog?
Now, my thing with this, when you blitz a guy like Mendoza, who actually his QBR goes up when he's being blitzed. That's why a lot of teams and most great quarterbacks, if you look at the great quarterbacks in the NFL right now, you don't like blitzing. You never wanted to blitz Peyton Manning. You didn't want to blitz Tom Brady. You didn't want to blitz Patrick Mahomes. Those guys seem to get better. I'm not saying Mendoza's in the conversation with those guys, but his QBR and his completion percentage seem to get better because hot routes. Because, like I said, Indiana's a team that do exactly what the coaches say. So if you blitz him from the cornerback position, they just throw where that corner vacated. You see what I'm saying? They do very simplistic things on the offensive side of the ball, and everything seems to work because everybody does their job. So now you say don't leave any bullets in the chamber, which is cool, but how can you change the game in the 9th inning when you have so much success playing the way you've been playing all season?
Well, you have to give Indiana different looks, Jody, because they are a very sound football team, very disciplined. You have to throw them off course somehow. You can't just go. I don't understand you say you don't want to blitz certain quarterbacks because they were so good against the blitz, but what are you supposed to do? Just sit back and let them pick your defense apart? I mean, that's not a smart option either. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think I don't like to sit back, and especially a quarterback like Mendoza that's very accurate and clean pocket is what he wants. I would say just blitz the guy, not uncontrolled blitz, but you want to give him different looks on every single play.
Yeah, I think you got to pick your spots on the blitzes. But what he has done is he's been shredding man-to-man coverages, though. If you look at majority of his touchdown passes, is when people try to blitz it. Now, I will say Oregon and Alabama, the 2 teams that they have played, did not have guys like Ruben Bain or Mazador on the edges. So, yeah, this is going to be a different monster facing this defense. And they got some very good corners over there in Miami. But the problem is when you leave guys on the island, like I said, Mendoza been throwing dots over the top, beating coverages, and the wide receivers don't seem like they fleet of foot, but they seem to always be open. They know how to get separation. So I'm really concerned about them having to put pressure with more than 4 guys their front 4. And I understand that every team has to eventually send some blitzes, but I'm against blitzing Mendoza. I think Mendoza you better off putting him in the zone coverages and making him think a little bit. Not saying that because he's very, he's very educated, but I'm just saying I would rather him take a few extra seconds to let my front 4 get there by putting zone coverages behind him.
That's something that we could possibly do. Jay Kane said that how did Indiana become a football school? So
They're not really a football school yet. They have to follow this up year after year in order to become a football school. They're still a basketball school in my eyes.
yeah, because I mean, this is the great Kobe Bryant after going up 2-0 in the series. He goes to the press conference, and the great Kobe Bryant said, "Job's not done." They
Yeah.
kept asking me questions. He said, "Job's not done." The reason why that was so significant at that point in time because there were two more games to win in that finals, and a lot of people like to count their eggs before they hatch. You know, we call the Indiana the best team. They're comparing them with the Michigan Wolverines, undefeated team. They're comparing those guys with the LSU teams that was undefeated. They're not undefeated yet.
Nope.
They're undefeated right now, but they still have a championship game to do. And what you don't want to do is underestimate anybody that you're approaching. Now, let's say Indiana does win this game. Let's talk about hyperbole. They win this game. Where do you rank the Indiana Hoosiers all time with this run?
I don't like ranking teams as soon as they win a championship. I like to let time go by, and maybe 5 years from now go back and look at this squad and then start ranking them. Because sometimes you in spur of the moment like, oh, man, that team was one of the best ever. Well, slow down. Let's let it simmer a little bit longer before we start comparing them to the all time greats. I don't like to do that right away.
I don't honestly, man. I don't like ranking teams, period, because when you rank teams year to year, there's different caliber of talent. Let me go ahead and give you an example. So when the Cleveland Browns, and I'm saying it because I'm a homer, when the Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns seem to always have the number one pick, we never can find that transcending quarterback in that particular draft. When we had the number one pick, Peyton Manning wasn't coming out. We had number one pick, Cam Newton wasn't coming out. We had number one pick, Andrew Luck wasn't coming out. Now we were lucky to get Myles Garrett, but we never was able to get a quarterback. So it's all about timing. So when you're looking at teams like Indiana, okay, well, Indiana had been undefeated last year when Ohio State went on their run. You think that with the veterans like Will Howard at quarterback and things like that, would Ohio State have beat Indiana because they beat Indiana last year? And
Yeah.
so when you look at do you think that this Indiana team was in the same season in the LSU year when Joe Burrow was there? Would they have beat them? You know, would they have beat the Nebraska team? So you don't know the nuances of what could happen during a particular season. So I just say enjoy the season that you
Yeah.
had. That's why I don't like when teams are like, well, if Ohio State they won the championship with two losses, or if Miami win, they'll have two losses. So what? They did all the things you can't change. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this. You can't change the game in the ninth inning. You can't
No.
say now all of a sudden that you can't have two losses. That's not the rules. The rules is not saying that you can't have two losses. A win's a win, and you're a championship. I'm tired of people saying, well, it's an asterisk by any championship that anybody get because the determination and what it takes to win a championship, you can't deny it, especially when everybody had the same playing field. But that's what I think about that. Jay Kane said, can we credit the transfer portal and NIL deals for Indiana being in the position they are this year? Good
Oh,
question. So what do you think?
most definitely, man. That's helped a lot of these squads over the years. Jody, I think you brought this up on the show before. I mean, the last 4 or 5 teams that won championships with quarterbacks, they've been from other schools. So, the transfer portal is like free agency in college football every season. Most of the time, if you win a championship or have a really good season, you got that quarterback from somebody else's school.
I'm gonna go slightly against the grain on this question for my guy Jay Kane the Chef. And this is why I think the transfer portal helps Indiana, but I don't believe the NIL deals have changed the complexion of any team. Because if that's the case, why has Oregon not won a championship? If the NIL, nobody spends more money in NIL than Oregon and Texas, in Ohio State, in Michigan. Those teams spend more money in NIL, and they are not in this particular position to win the national championship. So I say yes, Indiana was built more by the transfer portal because he took a lot of those kids from James Madison that
Yeah.
were good football players. They followed their head coach Signetti over there, and they like, look, we can play football too. And he brought basically his whole team from James Madison that had just became a Division I school, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago, I do believe, right? James Madison became
Yeah.
a Division
That
I.
sounds about right.
So I would say the transfer portal, yes, J. Kane. NIL, no. I think the NIL and people winning is overrated. Let's talk about that.
Ooh.
So I think the NIL in college football for success of a program is overrated. Everybody keeps saying, well, the NIL, look, we still got the same teams are winning outside of Indiana, but that's where they're succeeding in the transfer portal, but not the NIL. Talk to me about that. Do you feel like the NIL deal is really benefiting these teams that got a lot of money?
Yes, you got to pay your player. That's a go for example. You guys didn't pay Will Howard. They didn't pay the wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. Didn't pay him what he's worth. He's going to go somewhere else. I understand you guys. I know Ohio State spends a lot of money, but you have to spend it wisely. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Mets are going out spending all this money. They still ain't winning shit. You have to spend your money like the Dodgers. The Dodgers spend money wisely and they win championships. So yes, it matters. The NIL does affect these games. I don't understand the big schools got a lot of money, but you got to spend it wisely. You might bring the wrong player in and pay him a lot of money, and he don't produce.
This is my kickback. So when we talk NIL money, and we talk about teams like Texas, Texas has a lot of money, and they always had a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We can't say, okay, Ohio State benefited from the NIL when we had already won multiple championships prior to coming up to this year. Clemson was winning championships without the NIL. I just don't want people to keep saying, because I keep hearing this narrative that when the NIL became legal, Nick Saban couldn't coach anymore. And they wasn't winning. I mean, he won 6 championships. If Nick Saban never wins another championship, or Alabama does not win another championship, they're still gonna probably be one in the top 3 teams in championships by the time our lifetime is over. Mm-hmm. So how many? You can't win every year, guys. So sometimes we're taking a small sample size of the NIL and we're trying to make it like that's the predicate. It's not, because think about it. So the teams that have been winning prior to. Last year, Ohio State won the championship. Who won it the year before Ohio State? Michigan. Michigan won the championship. Before Michigan, who was it? It was, I believe, it was Georgia that won it. Georgia had won back-to-back. And before Georgia, it was LSU. Before LSU, it was Alabama. Before that was Clemson. Listen, until determination come about, I don't think NIL is going to affect teams. Like, now it might affect players going to certain schools, but just because you got a great player doesn't guarantee a championship.
No, it doesn't, but it guarantees you a better chance of winning a championship. I mean, for example, let's say the greatest player that's on Ohio State's roster right now, Jeremiah Smith. Let's say you need him next year to win a championship. I know you guys always got 5-star wide receivers. Y'all breed them up there for some reason. Let's say Jeremiah Smith got an offer from University of Houston to go play college football that year. They offered him $15 million. Mm-hmm. Ohio State tell him, well, kick rocks. We're not paying you that much money. Okay, we got this other kid coming in, and he don't pan out. He don't work out like you thought he was going to do. Now, oh, man, we really miss Jeremiah Smith. I'm just saying, man, I think that's why Nick Saban quit college football, because they have no more control of what goes on. You could be thinking the kid is coming to your office just to talk to you about the game. He's telling you he's leaving because some other school offering him more money. I think that part of Nick Saban didn't want to have to deal with anymore.
And see, I'm going to go against the grain against you. So I think Nick Saban left the game more of the transfer portal than the NIL. Because we know back in the day, these motherfuckers been getting money since we can remember these niggas getting money.
Oh, like, yeah.
We watch you remember Blue Chip. Everybody remember Blue Chip when Butch wanted that money and the one kid the kid that was from Indiana came down there and that money was in the bag on the porch. Like, come on, his dad got a new tractor. Come on, man. This stuff been going on, man. When Penny Hardaway and Shaq in the movie. So I think it was Nick Saban walked away from the game. And then on top of that, man, how much winning can you do? Nick Saban looked tired. Like, Nick Saban looked really tired. At the time, he couldn't beat Georgia. The student became the teacher with Kirby Smart. He couldn't beat Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart was winning. So I don't think Nick Saban was scared of anything. Like, to say that Nick Saban was scared to play in the coaching his age of football, I think people just pulling that out of. I think that just sounds good in the media to say. But Nick Saban ain't scared. First of all, Nick Saban's in his 70s. Maybe he doesn't relate to the players, but to say that he walked away with 6 championships, like, I don't understand when people get into that, the whole, hey, well, he was scared. Scared of what?
Yeah, I don't think he was scared. I don't think it was that. I just think the NIL and transfer portal, the way it's set up right now, just changed college sports forever. And I think Nick Saban, like you said, I'm old. I don't have time for this bullshit. I'm gonna go ahead and check out. Y'all got it from here on out.
But Jay Kane said the NIL was called boosters back then, and those schools were getting talented school names and coaches' names off of this coach's name. And that's the thing, man. Like, we got a scenario in basketball right now, and we talking about Darian Peterson. I know we speak about him because I believe he's going to be one of the top players in the draft. But he doesn't play a lot of minutes, and I think he only plays up to his obligation of what the NIL said it was. He's not coming back to Kansas next year.
No.
This guy, when I say this guy scores so effortlessly, he knows he's the best player on the court every time he walks on the court. I told you at one point in time, dude was 10 for 12 shooting.
Yeah.
And but I'm saying that to say this, in football is a little different. Some of the guys, you got to have guys that develop. Some guys can come in as 5-star recruits, but if you don't have the developmental squad to make those players play to your system or play better, that's why Oregon. I mean, because until somebody can tell me the enigma of Oregon or why they can't win the championship, and they've been having money even before the NIL deal became into play, talk to me about that. So why can't Oregon win a championship when we know Phil Knight been having money since the early 80s?
You remember in life when Eddie Murphy told Martin, "You soft, you gonna probably slow me down." And he said, "SOF capital T." That's Oregon. They're just a soft program. I mean, I know they have a lot of recruits. They got 35,000 different uniforms and all these. They glow in the dark, but they're not a physical football team. I think that's been their issue. I mean, to win a championship, they just cannot be physical enough. And I think normally when they run into a team that punches them, they never punch back.
Yeah, Oregon, I don't know what they showed a little bit more physicality the last few years by getting Panay Sewell. They got Worlds. Both of those offensive linemen are we know how good Panay Sewell is over with the Detroit Lions. He's an all-pro offensive lineman, and you see what they're doing with Worlds. He's going to probably follow in the same footsteps of Panay Sewell. But so they're getting some players in the trenches. They're not just worried about the position players, the wide receivers, the running backs. And I don't think they have ever really had a home run at the quarterback position. I know they won with Marcus Mariota, and then they had Achilles Smith and guys like that, Joey Harrington, this name a few guys. But I just don't never feel like they have ever had a home run quarterback. I know Bo Nix transferred out there. He had some good years. People are like, Jody, what are you talking about? They just to me never had a championship caliber quarterback because Dante Moore just don't look like a championship caliber quarterback, and he's coming back for another year. And I just think, I honestly, like we talked about this a couple of days ago, I just think that he's going to ruin his stock, Dante Moore. I think he right now he's the number 2 quarterback. He could have went to the combine, had a good showing at the combine, and still maybe competed with Mendoza. I think him going back with this class coming out with Arch Manning, Julian Sands, some of these the kid Lenore. The guy from South Carolina. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Lenore Sanders or something like that.
Yeah. So it's a lot of quarterbacks that's going to be coming out, and I think that he might have stepped back a few steps, and then it's always a quarterback that's going to emerge.
You know what, Jody? What I really do think about the NFL draft, I know we're going to be talking about that sooner or later. It's just, man, sometimes these quarterbacks, they want to go high in the draft, but sometimes it ain't always best for you, man. I know you say, "Oh man, I want to go up there early, get my hat, hug the commissioner, go to the team." But sometimes getting drafted high is not a good thing. Sometimes you're better off in the 2nd or 3rd round, possibly, and there's not as much highlights shine on you. You can just learn on a good organization and make your career better. Because Mendoza is going to the Raiders, unless they change the way they do business, he's going to struggle because the Raiders are in a tough division. He don't have any wide receivers. He's not the most fleet of foot quarterback. They're going to be saying, "Man, why the fuck did we take this guy?" In a couple years from now, that could definitely happen to that kid. Don't mean he can't play, but organization means everything. They get Brock Purdy.
Jay Kane said, "Hard players don't want to glow in the dark." Dark pause. Yo, so have you heard? And I know you know Jay-Z, and I know. Did you remember the verse when he would talk about Nas? He said, "You went from top 10 to not mention at all."
Oh yeah,
that can happen to Dante Moore though. He can go from top 10 to not even mention at all. Look at Carson Beck. If Carson Beck would have came out after the year before, not last year, if he would have came out the year before that, Carson Beck would be sitting back with a NFL career. He'd probably be holding a clipboard, but he would be in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
His NFL career is at stake. It's not a guarantee that Carson Beck is going to be on somebody's roster next year. It's not a guarantee he's going to get drafted. Look at Quinn Ewers. We thought Quinn Ewers was one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and now he's getting an opportunity in Miami, but he went in the 7th round, and he was almost undrafted.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes, man, I think you need to look and see what's best for you. It ain't like Oregon going to win a national championship next year. It ain't like all of a sudden y'all going to just all of a sudden, like you said, get some players that want to be physical and win a national championship. Ohio State going to be better. Indiana's going to be better next year. Penn State, we're going to see where they are. Michigan's going to be better. They got a more solidified head coach, and he's bringing all his kids from Utah over there. You see that they just signed the one kid, Maya, that was the top athlete where he played the wide receiver and the defensive back. So they're going to let him play both sides of the ball, a la Travis Hunter. They got a quarterback that all he needs is some quarterback coaching. And Underwood, we know he's a stud at the quarterback position. He just needs some fine tuning. So Michigan's going to be better.
Yeah.
You look at the SEC. You think the SEC going to take it kindly 3 years in a row that they ain't in the championship game? So Georgia going to have something to say about that. Gunner Stockton going to have something to say about that. Alabama ain't going to fall on their face like everybody think they going to do.
No.
Look at Miami. Miami like, we back. You know what I mean? So
the
Big 12 ain't going to keep letting y'all smack them in the face every year. So if I'm Oregon, Dante Moore, I'm going to go ahead and go pro, man. I'm gonna go ahead. If I go to the Jets, I go to the Jets. Because what he can do is he can do Sam Darnold role. He can go to the Jets. He don't perform well, get traded to another team. If you know you got the talent, you'll get another opportunity, just like most early round quarterbacks do.
You say that, Jody, but his name is Dante. You know what that means? He's black. So
it could be Dante DiVincenzo.
He might not get another opportunity. So if he might go to the Jets, and he might get the Justin Fields treatment. There's a chance that Justin Fields might not be in the league next year, brother. I'm not saying I agree with what's going on with this brother, but there's a good opportunity we might see Justin Fields not playing professional football next year. You agree with that?
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go against you. Right? I think Justin Fields is not gonna be a starter for sure, but there's a lot of organizations that he's better than their backup. I would have loved to see Justin Fields get an opportunity again. I think he really do needs to sit for 2 to 3 years. And when has he really sat behind anybody that can really help him? He didn't really sit behind Russell Wilson because they were competing for the job. So Russell Wilson wasn't trying to give him no tips. He was trying to win the job.
Yeah.
When Andy Dalton, you sit behind. What is Andy Dalton never won a playoff game? And you want him to learn from Andy Dalton. So I think that get out of the Jets organization, get to a team. Why don't he go over to Kansas City? While Patrick Mahomes is getting healthy, he might get some reps because he got to be better than that quarterback they put in there when Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
Yeah.
Why not send him over there, let him sit for a couple years? I don't think Justin Fields is even 25 years old yet.
No, he's not.
Let him sit, let him have the same opportunities that Daniel Jones and the same opportunities that Sam Darnold got. And that don't just go for Justin Fields. That goes for Zach Wilson because he's still relatively young. He's bounced around the league. So he's with Miami. I don't want nobody to be like, oh, Jody just saying this is a race thing. It's not a race thing. It's a quarterback thing. Even guys like Anthony Richardson, I think, okay, get out. Your days in Indianapolis are over. We see it. It's over. Go to somewhere, sit down, Trey Lances of the world. Look at what Marcus Mariota is doing. He's rejuvenating his career by being a backup. But I think that quarterbacks, we need to stop. We need to give them opportunities, but don't give them don't just take from one team and then all of a sudden he's a starter with the other team. No, I think you need to let these guys sit and earn their way back into good graces. Look at Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be a starting quarterback for somebody next year. So it's not about everybody out there. It's not about race at the quarterback position. It's about the quarterback position and being young.
I think there's two spots. If I'm Justin Fields, if I get to pick my next destination, I want to go where they know how to treat a quarterback. Send me to the Bay Area. I can, because they groom quarterbacks very well in San Francisco, or send me to Minnesota. I love their head coach, and he can probably take that job from that quarterback in Minnesota. He hasn't been playing too well, and he gets injured a lot. Those be the two spots I'd be trying to go if I'm Justin Fields to help my career moving forward.
Now I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I'm a big fan of JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy was 6-4 as a starter. Let's not lose that in all this. That I know people don't like him. He had 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in his first real go at it. But he was 6-4 as a starter. Was he?
But he's always hurt though, Joey.
True, but I mean, so was Joe Burrow. But we still give him praise.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow did a lot more than that kid has ever done.
No, Joe Burrow's first year as a starter, he got hurt. If I'm not mistaken, his first year as a starter, he got hurt by Chase against your Commanders. Chase Young hurt him.
Yeah, I remember that. Tore his knee off.
In his first year as a starter. So let's let him get into his second year, and then let's talk about it.
So would you bring in a Justin Fields to create competition there? If you're Minnesota, because you definitely want to have some depth at that position. A lot of these teams, when they draft these quarterbacks high, they don't bring in anybody else to compete with them. I think that's bad business to do that.
Honestly, me as a GM, no, if I got a young quarterback that's in his first contract and he's only in his second year or third year, no, I don't bring the competition into year 3 or 4 when we're trying to decide if we're going to exercise his 5th year of his contract. But if he's in year 2, no, I don't want to. Well, he's going to be in year 3, JJ McCarthy, because his first year was out. But I don't want to bring a quarterback competition where this young guy who's still trying to learn the playbook is looking over his shoulder. If I do, I get a trusty veteran that we know is not going to be the answer, like an Andy Dalton, a guy that we know we can put in there for a couple of games. He can win a couple of games if necessary. But going to get somebody like Justin Fields, who actually wants that job, for a quarterback that we took so highly in the draft and we feel like can be our franchise, no, that's something I wouldn't do. I know competition is always good, but if he was in his 3rd or 4th year and we're trying to figure out we want to pick up his 5th year option, yes, I bring competition in. If we trying to figure out if we're going to take him up on his 5th year option, that's when I bring a quarterback in at the same caliber that's trying to take the job. Yes, that's when I would do that. Real quick, Jay Kane said, why don't we talk about the athletic directors who are hiring these coaches and allowing them to take players with them to the schools? Let's talk about that before we get to the NFL.
Okay.
That's a very good question. Jay Kane asked the question. Like, why is it always the GMs? And so the GMs are equivalent to athletic directors, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't we get upset when these coaches leave and take their players? Can you talk about that?
What do you mean? You talking about the NFL level or college level?
No, you're talking about college.
Oh, everyone's independent contractors in college football right now. So if a guy recruited me to come to his school and he leaves for greener pastures, like the LSU coach is doing, and I think I'll fit well in his system, I don't see any problem with it. You can transfer at any time nowadays anyway. That's the way college sports are right now.
Yeah, Kane, I don't have any problem with a player following their coach because we know how important coaching is. Because, some schools pick schools to go to because of the head coach.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go somewhere where this coach basically is like, hey, you're going to be my guy. And then he say, oh, I'm going to take this job at Cal. And then I done dropped to the back of the depth chart. I only got one college career. I'm 18, 19 years old. Why am I going – I want to play. At the very least, if I don't make it to the next level, I want to play. So I'm going to leave. Because I listen, man, y'all got y'all life. Y'all done already lived y'all life. I still got an opportunity to be successful. And I can't be successful if I'm riding the goddamn bitch for somebody.
100%.
JK said nobody mentions the AD as part of the school's problem or success. I don't think they have as much say so as we think because the AD has so many programs. And like if you had like Vandy, let's talk about Vandy right now. Vandy has a very good football team. Their girls basketball team is undefeated. Their boys basketball team only got 1 loss. They got a very good volleyball team. They got a very good softball team, and they got a very good baseball team, just to name a few things that I think even their gymnastics team is good. So ADs, they don't get as much success because they got so many other programs that they got to worry about across the campus.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think they can just put their focus right in there with just football because they have so many other successful programs throughout their university. So I think that's why the AD don't get a lot of flack for a coach in basketball or coach in football leaving because they got other programs that they got to worry about throughout their campus. So
you look at a guy like Andrew Luck that took the job with Stanford. He's not the athletic director, Joey. I do believe he's more like their money, like salary cap guy. I
yeah.
don't think he's the actual. So it's crazy nowadays in college sports what they're dealing with on these campuses.
But yeah, man, let's get to the NFL before we get out of here, man.
Yeah.
We got a couple divisional playoff games today, and the first game on the docket solo on sports is the Buffalo Bills will be traveling out west to the Mile High City of the Denver Broncos, man. The Denver Broncos are underdogs in this game, and they're the number 1 seed. I don't know, and they're at home. It's crazy work. How does that work, so? And why are they underdogs?
Experience at quarterback. I think that's probably the biggest part of this, because if you look at the Bills have a terrible run defense. I mean, they really don't have any real weapons on for wide receiver. Like your favorite word, they do have nice tight ends, though. They do have that.
I love the tight
ends.
end.
I love you like them tight ends. See, I like them a little jiggle. They don't have to be that tight to me. but what the Bills do have, they do have everyone's favorite. Maybe not yours, but most of the people in the NFL that are rooting for Josh Allen to finally get to the Super Bowl. And I think that's probably has a lot to do with it. They think this is Josh Allen's moment to shine. There's no Patty Mahomes there. There's no Lamar Jackson. There's no none of those other quarterbacks there to get in his way. He's the most veteran of these quarterbacks left, and they think Buffalo's time is there. Now, I think that's probably why we see all the money going into Buffalo getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, and you basically said exactly what everybody's sentiments is. You do got Josh Allen. Everybody is, because Josh Allen is a great quarterback.
Oh yeah,
he's a great guy. He interviews really well. He doesn't seem like a prick or an asshole. So it's easy for you to to root for this guy.
Yeah.
And his wife is a very attractive woman. She was in Sinners.
Yeah.
So so he's a lucky man at that. This nigga married her and won the MVP. That nigga is winning on and off the field.
Life is great, right?
Life is great. If he win the Super Bowl, it ain't gonna be nothing y'all can say about this man. But this is my issue though. So the Denver Bronco defense had, I believe, 64 sacks or 68 sacks. It was, because I don't know if I added the last game, but anyway, I think they may have 64 to 68 sacks on the season, which is I think second all time in accumulated sacks. They run the ball pretty well between the tackles. Bo Nix has the best QBR and completion percentage and win share totals in the fourth quarter, where that's how good he's been in the fourth quarter all year. The problem is, why are you letting it get to the fourth quarter? why are the games so tight? What I do say for the Buffalo side of the ball, that's going to be very unique for those guys. Ed Oliver is set to play their defensive tackle, so that brings back a good element to stop the run against Denver. Keon Coleman was a Keon Coleman sighting in last game. He caught a big pass on the sideline, so maybe he's back. The kid Samuels from Ohio State will be available in this game, so they are getting a little bit of depth. And let's talk about your Tre'Davious White having a resurgence of his career. Yeah. He's being one of the better, because when he got hurt, he was with the Buffalo Bills. I thought he was one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. He got hurt, bounced around the league. Now he's back with Buffalo, and he looked like he's back to that form, one of those LSU cornerbacks. But I just think that there's a lot of disrespect going on in Denver. I think I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos in this game. So I think the Denver Broncos will win this game and find a way to win. And it's nothing against Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to win. I want him to win because he's going to win, not because I'm rooting for him just because nobody's there just to be in his way. Because those other quarterbacks that want to be stars and want to be legendary, like a Bo Nix and Drake May and C.J. Strauss, those guys in the AFC, they're like, I don't give a shit about him. I want to win the Super Bowl too. Like, that's what you play the game for. So nobody's going to lay down for Josh Allen just because the big dogs, that, so to speak, the Joe Burrows and the Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes are at home, and now Trevor Lawrence. He already knocked off Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor and Justin Herbert is at home already. You know what I'm saying? It's actually Shedeur Sanders at home.
His time is coming. I hope so.
His time coming. But
hey, Joey, I like your pick of the Broncos because honestly, brother, I'm picking Buffalo to win, but I'm not saying it with confidence because they have so many question marks. But I'll tell you what, Broncos, if you're going to beat these guys, don't give this guy the chance to win the game at the end. because he will beat you. Because Jacksonville made that mistake last week. Oh, we got them, and they got the ball last, and Buffalo went down right down there and scored a touchdown. So I thought maybe they could have lost last week, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Broncos destroy the Bills today. But I'm still gonna keep rolling with Buffalo. I picked them before the beginning of the playoffs. I'm gonna keep rolling with them.
Yeah, Jay Kane said, as long as Buffalo don't have Daryl Talley or Jim Kelly or Andre Reed.
Hey, Joe, there's a question. Joe, there's a question about my coworker. We were talking about Buffalo possibly going to the Super Bowl. You know, they bring back your legends. Let's say Buffalo go to the Super Bowl. Do you bring those bad luck players on the side? Do you ask Jim Kelly, Thurman, and all these guys that went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row? Do you bring them out for the coin toss, or you said, "Look here, man, y'all just stay home, and when we have the parade, you show up for that"? What do you do, Jody?
The only person that is not allowed in that stadium is Scott Norwood. I would not allow Scott Norwood nowhere close to anything that they got going on. And it's a hard press for Scott Norwood. I mean, because that field goal, he makes that field goal against the Giants. We're talking about Buffalo probably as we probably talk about how we talked about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think that they had that type of talent, and to go to 4 Super Bowls is amazing because people forget that they were in the AFC Championship game. I think they went to 4 Super Bowls, but they missed one AFC Championship game because Cleveland beat them. But the year before that, they was in the AFC. So it's 5 out of 6 years, they were in the AFC Championship game. And people don't really realize that. The only team that kept them out of the AFC Championship game was the Cleveland Browns because we went, and then we got our ass kicked by the Denver Broncos.
Hey, Joey, have you seen – you remember they played Dallas the second time, Buffalo. That was their last of that Super Bowl run. You remember at halftime of that game, Buffalo was winning that game. I remember watching it clear just like it was yesterday. I remember them walking off the field. They looked defeated. I'm like, y'all do know y'all are winning, but it's like they had PTSD. They knew what was gonna happen in the second half because they had lost 3 in a row. They said, this ain't we're gonna lose again. And so I don't know, man. I really feel for their fan base. I mean, to get there 4 times and to lose all 4, if they get back again, I think they might get it done this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a big if. Today is going to be the telltale.
It is.
This may be their toughest assignment is going out there to Madhouse City of Denver and winning this game. They might have a better chance to beat the Houston Texans or the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
But either team that they play, they're going to be on the road. Like, Buffalo has no home games at all. There's no way that Buffalo can go to a home game because even if they beat Denver and then Houston beats New England, Houston still is the home team. So that's Jay Kane said Big Sal made a call at halftime in the Vegas. He said that basically Vegas called, said, nigga, y'all about to lose. Like, what are you doing? So we go over to the NFC, man, and we got the 49ers playing against the Seattle Seahawks. And do you remember the last time, or not the last time they played, but a very, very special game that the 49ers played against Seahawks in the playoffs? And it was a Richard Sherman versus a Michael Crabtree. You remember that? It was, I think they won 23-17. Of course, a late tip. Richard Sherman tipped the ball, was picked off by Malcolm Smith. And I think they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. How much revenge is on the minds of the 49ers to get some get back for the ghost of Michael Crabtree?
Probably not much. Probably from the fan base, they probably care, but none of those players are still there. They probably want some revenge from just happened a few weeks ago with that crazy backwards tip pass, end up a touchdown. I think there was 1 for 2 in that game when the running back picked it up in the end zone.
No, that was against the Rams.
Oh, you're right. That was against the Rams. I don't know, though. They said the People's Champ quarterback, Sam Darnold, hasn't thrown the football in weeks. His oblique is really bothering him. He's going to play today. I think he's got the bubble guts. I think he's nervous. Just pressure on this kid. If he don't win this football game today, if things start going bad, look for Sam Darnold to check out of this football game. I think he don't have the heart to stay in there like a real leader. If things start going bad, look for Sam Darnold to grab at his oblique and check his ass out of the football game. I ain't sold on him being that dude, but I do think they'll win this football game. I just don't like the 49ers are just too beat up. For them to win this football game would be damn near incredible and go ahead and get Kyle Shanahan the head coach of the year if right there on the field if he finds a way to win this game. I just don't think they can do it. I think Seahawks find a way to win with that defense.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. What is the narrative on Sunday's show if Sam Darnold does not get this done? What's the narrative on Sam Darnold?
He's not clutch. He's still zero for. He still has the same amount of playoff wins as what's the quarterback from the Chargers?
Justin Herbert.
They still have the same amount of playoff wins if he doesn't find a way to win. I mean, they are the 1 seed in the NFC. You got the home field advantage. You got a beat up 49ers team that you don't like. You're in the same division. There's no excuse for the Seahawks with that defense to lose this game to Brock Purdy and the 49ers. That would be pretty embarrassing for them.
So what would you say? Like, because you know what I'm gonna say. If Sam Darnold can't get it done, I'm like, I told you so.
He's not clutch. I've been saying the same thing. He's got until he does it, he's not that dude. He's got to prove to us that he can win in the playoffs. And until this point, he just has not got it done. Now they got him on the contract, and they'll probably run it back again. I think he signed a 2 or 3 year deal. He'll be back there again next year. But until he gets it done, the Boo Bird's going to be out there.
But I will say he is going to get it done today. I do believe. I do believe the Seattle Seahawks win. They do just enough to win this game. They did beat them just a few weeks ago. They did already beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers got to get extremely creative without having George Kittle's on the field. They're going to have to get extremely creative with the pass rush. And I think all those from their head coach to their defensive coordinator, Salas, their offensive coordinator, I think all those guys need kudos for top assistant, top DC, because they're making – how are they doing what they're doing without having Brandon Ayuk all year, not having Ricky Pearsall in and out of the lineup, George Kittle's out now, Trent Williams in and out of the lineup, Brock Purdy in and out of the lineup. You go to defense, Nick Bosa in and out. Well, he's out the lineup. They're Williams, their first round draft pick, Fred Warner. They just lost Bethea. He was playing fantastic. Now he's out. They lose guys in the secondary through free agency, and they here. How does this happen, man?
Like the guy you've been hyping up all year, people forgot how great this guy was. Christian McCaffrey. He's been the only player, which is crazy considering all the injuries he's had over his career. He's been the only player that they can count on every single Sunday. He's been showing up. I think you said, Joe, I think he had over 100 catches this year. I had a great season. So Christian McCaffrey been the leader of this football team from week 1 to right now, the playoff run they're making right now.
Okay, Jay Kane, so here's a good show topic. Which quarterbacks have played their last down as starters after this season? Who do you believe has played their last downs?
Aaron Rodgers. I think he's done. I don't think he wants to play anymore, but I think he won't come out officially and retire because he still likes people talking about him. He loves being in the news, but I think Aaron Rodgers is done as a quarterback.
I definitely probably agree. When you look across the league, that's the quarterback that definitely comes to mind because of his age. But I'm gonna go in a different direction. I think Joe Flacco has thrown his last pass in the NFL.
I can see that.
Because of his age, of course, and
yeah.
You know, he was a stopgap quarterback in Cleveland. He had a resurgence of his career when Cleveland gave him the opportunity to get off the couch where he was playing with his kids a couple years ago. He comes back to Cleveland, goes to the playoffs, goes to Indianapolis, has some decent times in Indianapolis in relief, comes back to Cleveland, has, subpar situations, go to the Bengals. I think the best thing we need to see from Joe Flacco is that he goes to the Baltimore Ravens and he plays for every team in the NFC North. He will play for every team in the North. Go to the Steelers. And if he goes to the Steelers and plays quarterback, I kind of want to see that. That will be must-see TV for a player to play for every team in that division. I would like to see that. But I think those are two. If you answer the question for you, J.K., I think those are two quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco probably had thrown their last passes in the NFL. But we have seen stranger things happen. His name was Brett Favre. Brett Favre, remember every year this motherfucker was like, I'm retired. I'm not retired. I'm retired. Jay Kane said he believes it's Geno Smith. What do you think about that?
Oh no, Geno still got some. He still got some life left in the leg. Whether he's a starter or not, they just. I think the Raiders just gave him a contract of a 2 or 3 year, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I don't think he's done. He might be the backup for the Raiders or another team. I still think he's going to still be in the league.
Now, what I will say, I think he has thrown his last pass for the Raiders. I think when they go with Mendoza, I think they're going to clean house at all the quarterback position to make sure there's no competition. Or they may keep Geno Smith and let him play like they did Jacoby Brissett and let him play 3 to 4 games. And if they go on 4, on 5, 1-4, 2-3 or something like that, they go ahead and
Yeah.
make the change at the quarterback position and go with Mendoza. But I do think that Geno Smith will still be in the lead. I mean, even though he was one of the lead leaders in interceptions, I think Geno Smith's only like 32, 33 years old, so I still think he got 3 to 4 years. If Jameis Winston's still in the league, guys like that, I think that as him being a starter, we may not see that unless it's for relief.
Maybe Russell Wilson. Maybe he won't play anymore.
That can be a possible. The crazy thing is, if you really look at Russell Wilson, he's only like 36.
Yeah,
and it's amazing that you want to get rid of a quarterback at 36, but you want to keep a quarterback in Kirk Cousins who's 36. And we seen that Russell Wilson had more success than Kirk Cousins. And the thing about it is, was Russell Wilson playing that bad with the Giants when he threw 450 yards? He just lost that game against the Cowboys. He wasn't playing that bad in the Giants uniform.
no, he
Right?
wasn't. But that coach was reaching for straws, trying to keep his job. So they said, "I got to put the young guy out there." I think that probably had a lot to do with it. He didn't have any patience because he knew he was on the hot seat. So they put the young kid out there. I think that's kind of what happened for Russell with the Giants. But I don't know, Russell. He's right now. He's just going from team to team, trying to see if he can compete for a starting job. I don't know where his next job would be. I mean, the Raiders only gave him a 1 year. I mean, the Giants only gave him a 1 year deal. So I guess they can want this whole thing to play out. Maybe he's just going to be a backup for the rest of his career, and maybe groom some of these young quarterbacks. We'll see.
We'll see about that. Andrew said Case Keenum. I didn't know Case Keenum was a starter for anybody anyway. Then he said Phillip Rivers. We kind of know that Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah.
We know Phillip Rivers. They said he came back for insurance purposes. Like this dude came back. I think you got to instantly give Phillip Rivers the comeback player of the year just for what he did. Like I know that you want to give it to Christian McCaffrey for what he did, but I think to not play for 5 years and he was on the Hall of Fame ballot, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna go back and play football again. That took a lot of. I think you give him the comeback player of the year. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, that's very impressive. And he didn't play terrible. There's other quarterbacks that didn't play, and he actually played pretty decent. He didn't win any games, but really it wasn't because he played terrible. He played okay. They just couldn't get it done.
Well, like I told you, the kid Riley Leonard, I think that he's going to compete with Daniel Jones next year because Daniel Jones is not going to be ready at week 1, even though he got hurt. I think at week 11 or 12. He's not going to be prepared to. He's going to be on the PUB list probably till week 4 or week 6. I think this kid Riley Leonard. That's why I didn't understand why they went and got another quarterback when Riley Leonard was on that roster. I think he was battling some injuries, but Riley Leonard looked like he looked like a completely different quarterback. And the reason why I say this, so as I was doing some research, I normally do a lot of research when I'm up at night. So I was going to post like some of these quarterbacks that end up being great in the pros, but I went and looked at their college numbers. Like, what? Joe Montana was fucking trash at Notre Dame. No, I'm dead serious. Go look. I think he had like 26 touchdowns to 25 interceptions. And he's the great one, arguably the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen, Joe Montana. So he did that. I looked at Warren Moon's stats at Washington. He didn't rip it up at Washington. But of course, they weren't throwing the ball for Notre Dame or Washington like they throw it nowadays, of course. Yeah. But when you go look at the great quarterbacks and then you go look at their college careers, you're like, But I know people don't like numbers like me, but I just was like, I was going to post Joe Montana like, wait, I didn't realize his numbers was not that great at Notre Dame. I didn't know that. I thought he would have a little bit better numbers than what he had.
And who's the best Notre Dame quarterback of all time? Would that be Joe Theismann?
Far as in the pros or in college?
I mean, college.
In college, me personally, I think it was Tony Rice. I think Tony Rice was the best quarterback, and he's the only one that won a national championship for him.
Well, that I give you that. That's true.
But his number is not good either.
What about Brady? Brady Quinn went to Notre Dame, did he?
Yeah, he was okay. He was okay. But you got guys like Ron
Rick
Paulus,
Meyer.
Rick Meyer, but Rick Meyer couldn't look to the other side of the field. He only looked at what did he have something wrong with his neck? Like Rick Meyer only played 50% of the field. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, Andrew mic'd up, said he got a question. He said NFL NBA question. What player or players do you see on the move during the trade deadline? Which teams would they will go there? We'll talk about that on Tuesday. I want to kind of stick with this. This NBA will be a full-throated. As Mike
full-throated.
Is that a real word?
No, he made that up.
I'm about to say I need to. Andrew said, "What about Jimmy Clausen?" Remember we thought Jimmy Clausen was going.
Jimmy Clausen, yeah, Jimmy Clausen.
Be good. I mean, Notre Dame has always got Book. What about Ian Book?
He's still in the league.
He was with the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if he's still there.
He probably did third string.
He was with New Orleans Saints. I think he was the Kansas City Chiefs. He probably gonna be in the XFL somewhere.
But a terrible name.
Ian Book. I don't know. But yeah, in this particular matchup right here, so I do have the Seattle Seahawks winning. Long as Sam Darnold don't lose the game, I think if they run the ball, he said he's not in the league anymore. Oh, how long he been out? Because I know he was with the Chiefs and he was with the Saints for a minute. He must have just been out the league maybe a year. I mean, ain't nobody check for Ian Book.
No.
Ain't nobody like, man, where that Ian Book jersey at? Hey, can I get somebody to sign my Ian Book jersey? Sorry,
no.
Ian Book, I'm not joking, man. At least you made it to the pros.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. In this game, I got Seattle. I think that Seattle defense is going to be a problem for that offense. But I think it's going. What do you give me a prediction of this score? So
the way Seattle flies around on defense, they've had extra time off with the bye week. 49ers had a tough win in Philly last week. They're living off that momentum, but I can see Seattle really running up the score in this game. I can see Seattle winning this game 30-16. That's my prediction. 30-16 Seattle.
I think it's gonna be close. I think this game, last time they played, I think it was 13-3. But they were playing in San Francisco.
That was an ugly game too.
And actually, you take away the interception, which you can't, but the ball hit Christian McCaffrey in his hands and went right to the linebacker Drake Thomas, where they could have really at least got a field goal. Andrew said 17-10. I'm gonna go very close game, one possession game. I say 21-17. I think 21-17. I don't think Seattle settled for field goals. I think they get touchdowns. I think the only denominator going to be is one of the drives. The 49ers are going to have to take a long field goal. I think both teams misses a field goal with a piece.
Okay.
Both teams misses a field goal. So I say 21-17 in favor of the home team, the Seattle Seahawks. And in the earlier game, I believe the Denver Broncos, the home field advantage, they win by 3 in that game. I think the Denver Broncos, even though they got Superman on the other side with Josh Allen, I say that game, I say Denver wins 29-26 at home. What's your prediction on that score?
What game is that?
Buffalo and Denver.
Oh, I'm rolling with the Bills. Hopefully they ain't the counterfeit Bills today. I'm going to go Buffalo. I still don't like the Denver offense very much. I'm going to go Buffalo to win this game 24-20.
24-20. Okay. Well, man, great show as usual, man. You know, that's what we tend to always do is have great shows, man. But I need you to give me your final thought as we get out of here.
Final thought, man, it's going to be this is normally the best round of NFL playoffs. Divisional rounds always we get great moments. Wild card weekend's cool, but this is where the rubber hits the road. All the better teams that haven't played this round, and I'm looking forward to see which one seed loses first, because they're all not going to win. One of these one seeds and one of these top seeds are going to lose this weekend. We're going to see if it's going to be Denver or is it going to be Seattle who loses first.
Okay, I like that. Man, my final thought is this, man. There were 9 coaching vacancies, and one of them is not even officially occupied. It was supposed to be the Giants with John Harbaugh. They have not came out and had an official wording of him being the head coach, which is kind of strange because I think he's trying to get in a situation where he controls everything, and I don't blame him. I think he wants to have creative control over what he does because he got a big job ahead of him to make the Giants back to being relevant. It's not going to be an overnight job. He got a lot of undoing to do. But why are the other 8 teams waiting to see if this guy is going to actually take this contract? And why are other teams, the Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, of course, the Miami Dolphins, now Pittsburgh and the Ravens, why are they not filling these coaching vacancies? What are they waiting for? Are they waiting for a lot of the coordinators that are still in the playoffs to potentially bring those guys in as head coaches? Why is Mike McCarthy not on anybody's radar? Why is he's been out the game, so you can interview him at any time. I'm just right now, so I'm just scratching my head on if you want to get a product on the field and you want to get your coaching staff going and you want to you feel like you can make a run with this new coach that you get. Why are we not hiring head coaches right now? So why does it seem like, okay, the Giants, they got their head coach, it seems. Why is everybody else, okay, Harbaugh's off the market, Tomlin's not going to coach. Let's go with the next best available coach that can get us to the next level. Why are we not seeing that? And I just think that if I'm Cleveland, of course, that's my team. We need to find out who the head coach is. They had 2 interviews with Munkins, which I'm not agreeing with at all. They had 2 interviews with Jim Schwartz, which I am in agreement. I think he may deserve to be the head coach. And I guess they brought Jesse Minter in, which I'll be very happy if Jesse Minter was the head coach. But make a fucking decision and make it fucking in the next couple days. Shit. That's my final thought, man.
So I think a lot of man, because the NFL is a little bit different from college. Like you said, they might be waiting on some of the coordinators that are still in the playoffs that might have a lot to do with it. And you get interviewing these guys 2 or 3 times. So I think there's not such a hurry to get your head coach. I mean, that's probably why they're taking so damn long.
How many interviews do you need? Like, what do you like? I'm pretty sure when you fly them in, because these are top-notch positions.
Yeah,
$1 million contracts will be going to these coaches. So you bringing them in first class. I'm pretty sure you're showing them facilities.
Yeah.
How long do you need to talk to somebody to figure out if this is going to be the coach of your team? I feel like I don't feel like the Giants had that many interviews with John Harbaugh. I think they said this is the guy. This is our guy. We know what his track record is. Let's bring him in. If you got to interview a motherfucker,
I think he was more of a no-brainer for organizations. John Harbaugh, because winning what he did at Baltimore, the other guys are kind of like, I don't know. Their last jobs, they got fired for a reason. For the most part, I think that probably has a lot to do with it.
Mike McCarthy. Do you know when they put Mike McCarthy's resume up against Mike Tomlin? He has more playoff wins than Mike Tomlin. He's 11-11 in the playoffs. Tomlin's 8-11. Both of them, he got more divisional championships than Tomlin. I think they pretty much similar on wins, and both of them got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but as a GM, your ass is on the line. If you pick the wrong guy and it don't work out, they'll probably fire you before they fire that coach that you hired. So it's very important. You want to make sure you bring in the right guy that fits what you want to do.
I dig that, but scared money don't make money, my boy. And my thing is, if you fuck around and keep waiting, you're gonna lose the guy that you. It's like I'm gonna go with a mic gesture. You at the club and you see a couple girls. You got this girl on the other side, and you keep trying to play it safe and you trying to flirt with both of them, but you're not sure. And then you fuck around and look up, and both of them gonna be gone because somebody done scooped up both of them. Now you going home with some Vaseline and some baby oil. That was for Michael, the People's Champ. So anybody hear this, run this back and send this to Mike. But
when you go home with the baby oil, that is the safest sex of all time. You don't have to worry about Plan Bs or all those other things. Very safe.
It depends if you lock the door. Hey, my man Eagles Philly said, good show today. Good brothers. Enjoy the college basketball games, the NBA games, the NFL divisional rounds, absolutely, and the football rounds, of course. Man, we're going to check them all out and record it back to you guys tomorrow. Mike Up said that McCarthy is interviewing with the Titans, but the Titans job been vacant for a long time too. How do you not know, like, who do you want at this point? But I guess is who wants to coach for them is the better question. Like, it ain't who they want. It's
Who's
about who
running
wants
that
to coach them.
organization too? Well, I don't know who's running the Titans. I know they fired the GMs like back-to-back years. I don't even know who's even running. Is the owners doing it? I don't know. I have no idea who the even GM is with the Titans.
Oh, I meant to tell you congratulations. I see you got the head coach position with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Joe, I'm expecting you to direct message me your resume to see if I want to bring you in as a coaching staff. I'm gonna need me a defensive coordinator if you looking for something to do.
Hey, as long as I can put my pen behind my ear to
yeah.
if I can do that.
Yes,
but yeah,
sir.
man. Great show today. I'm your host, Jody Coleman. We get the Grain Sports Podcast, Uncut. We got my man, Jarrell Solo on Sports Glenn, all the way from San Antonio, Texas. Michael, the People's Champ, in his absence. Ray, more than just a barber. Lindsay in his absence. Andrew, mic'd up. Williams in the building. Jason, the Hefty Lefty. My brother. Donald, the voice of the youth. And we can't do none of this without J. Kane, the chef, cooking it up in the kitchen, man. So what we doing till tomorrow at 11:30?
We working, baby.
See y'all tomorrow. Peace.